I think people are very concerned right now about the mental health and the conditions of the evacuees. It's very, very stressful, obviously. It's very anxiety provoking. And chiefs are concerned about what will happen with the rebuild.
The residents of Fox Lake in northern Alberta had about 30 minutes notice to flee their homes immediately as wildfires raced toward them. Fox Lake is one of the 3 woodland Cree communities that make up the Little Red River Cree Nation. And joining me now is the chief of that First Nation, Chief Conroy C. Woopagam. He's in John Doerr Prairie in Alberta. Chief, thank you so much for joining me. I see you got your safety vest on, so I know you must be busy. What's the situation like in your community right now?
Right now we're still assessing the damage. So we're hoping the teams that are taking care of the power lines will have a plan of approach to look at the transmission lines going into the community. I know, but with the also looking at we're pretty cognizant that before we allow escorted services into Fox Lake and for the evacuees to come in and come take their belongings, we got to make sure that the noxious fumes are not too volatile. So we're hoping to keep an eye on the air quality within Fox Lake.
Right, of course. Do you have any sense of physical damage so far? Have any homes been affected? How many homes have been affected? I mean, being asked to flee like that it must be stressful. What is the situation with the actual properties?
When we did the ground truthing there 2 nights ago, the number still stands. I know there's some little concern about some flare-ups. That's where we have our daytime operations, looking at trying to stomp out the fire within Fox Lake. But for all I know, and for what I've been telling a lot of people, that number may increase because we don't necessarily have any house keys to look into inside homes if there's any smoke damage or flooding that might have taken place because maybe someone left their taps running while they're evacuating short notice. So the number of homes could be a little more as days progress.
But have the wildfires themselves actually taken any of the properties, or is it mostly just smoke and other residual damage that you're worried about at this point?
When it first started, the Pasqua fire kind of just raged through right into the community. So unfortunately, it was the wildfire that did all of that damage.
So from what I've read, about 3,500 of your residents have been asked to evacuate. You have a sense of any timeline before they can return home?
At this point in time, no. I wish I had a crystal ball, but there's a lot of things there that need to be taken care of. Like I said, making sure all the smoldering from the homes that have burned, the buildings, the infrastructure, power lines that are laying scattered all throughout the roads, those need to be taken care of before they go into the community, because a lot of our folks have pre-existing health conditions. So the last thing we want is bring in people that have any respiratory systems to compound their health.
No, I understand you spoke with Federal Cabinet Minister Patty Hajdu earlier today. What kind of supports are you looking for from the federal government right now?
Well, just getting all logistics all sorted out. If we can get the infrastructure in terms of what is damaged, and as soon as we have boots on the ground to do the assessment, and of course making sure the communications on the ground are keen, but also we don't have a grocery store anymore. So those things need to be sorted out before the smoke clears.
How are you holding up, Chief? I would imagine there's quite the burden of responsibility on your shoulders right now, looking after everybody and trying to manage things. How are you doing in all of this?
I would say I'm tired, but even that I don't have time for.
What's the number one thing you need right now to help you with this? I mean, you mentioned no grocery store. Is that because you can't get to it? Did it burn down?
It burnt down.
It burnt down. So is there any way to get food supplies to help people? Like, where are they holding up while this is going on, sir?
So right now we have our two primary evacuation centers are here in John Doerr, and the other one is in our second community, Garden River. And we have secondary evacuation centers all throughout the northern region here, like High Level, La Crete, and I believe Fort Vermilion and Battle Prairie.
And so the people have been evacuated. I mean, with the grocery store gone, obviously that creates an enormous challenge. But do you have a commitment of, do you have enough food supplies? Do you have a commitment of food supplies from the federal government, from the provincial government? Where do those things stand?
No, there's no commitments on in terms of those type of reports or resources for Little Red, but we do have a few phone calls with the Premier and the feds again here this evening. So I'm sure those commitments will be coming.